I grew up in a dysfunctional household, which led me to the streets and becoming rebellious. During my life in the streets, I found knowledge of self, which led me to becoming an entrepreneur. I opened a store called Hobby Boys, which was known in the community by many. I also opened a restaurant called Richie's. I was at the peak of my achievements. Things was going great. Life couldn't get no better. And then the pandemic hits. Now I'm back outside, enjoying life to the fullest. Despite the minor setback, it was a plan for a major comeback, which led me into the fashion and creating the brand B-Lo NY and bringing you this content at Real Spill 716. Hey, it's your boy, Toe Jitto, here, direct on the scene. Real Spill 716, you know what I mean? And today we're gonna get into the topic of health and wealth. But you know, before we get into it, we always get that moment of silence for those that may have lost someone. All right, bet. Now let's get into it. Health and wealth. Health is wealth. Let's get to that. But let's get to the general understanding of what health is. Health is generally your well-being. And you can have financial health, you can have social health, mental health, physical health, and you can also have a health of awareness. I guess that's part of mental health, right? So let's get into it. Now, health is something that you should be concerned about, because without it, you know, you'll be in a little dis-ease. And that's what the premise of disease is. It's dis-ease. So if you're lacking health, then you'll be at a dis-ease, which means that the ailment or the pain will bring discomfort and dis-ease to your disposition or to your well-being. So understanding that, you want to always keep in mind, or you want to always be mindful of your health. You understand? And your health is basically dealing with the building blocks and the construction of a better you, better well-being. Like I said, you can have mental health. Mental health is dealing with the betterment of your mind state or your mindset. You know what I mean? Physical health is dealing with the betterment of your body, the conditioning of your physical well-being. You know, you can also have financial health. And that's where, you know, health is wealth. Because if you have a healthy financial setup or a healthy currency flow, then you'll be able to provide all those nourishments or nutritions necessary to keep your physical and mental health. You understand? So your financial health has to be in shape just as well as your physical health and your mental health. Now you also got social health, which is how you conduct yourself in society. How do you mingle and how do you interact with people? Now you got people who can't be around people. They get an anxiety, they get a sense of agitation or a sense of uncomfortability, and they tend to either react in a manner of unsettled. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with people that have an ill social health, then they may be hard to approach, or they may seem like they're hard to get along with, but in reality, they don't have the social health in shape. You know what I'm saying? Now, before we get any further into the segment, we're gonna give a shout out to our sponsor, which is. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, B-Lo NY, with that great premium quality fashion. They got the stress tees. You see the quality. They got the stress tees of all types, colors. They got yoga sets for women, all types, colors. You see? T-shirts. Got your crop tees for ladies. Got your hoodie dresses for ladies. Got your bags, your crossbodies. I got me one of these already. Feel me? Got your suede truckers. Got your snapbacks. Official tissue snapbacks for you. Got your distressed hoodies. Got your distressed shorts. Got your beanies. Come on, man. Get fly with B-Lo NY. Premium quality, quiet luxury. Word. Check them out at B-Lo NY _2024 on Instagram, or you can check out their website, which is BLO-NY.com. Tell them Real Spill sent you. Now let's get back to this health. Now, on a physical note, health deals with how you feel and your condition and your well-being, basically. So when you're dealing with a healthy well-being, then you are conditioning your physical in a manner to where it's improving your health, your well-being, whether you exercise, whether your diet is correct and balanced. Because see, a lot of people think, if you eat a lot, that's healthy. But what a lot of people don't understand is it's pretty much what you're eating a lot of that determines the health aspect of it. You understand? The portions, the construction of the meal. Was it processed? Is it organic? Is it GMO? Is it natural? Is it microwaved? All those aspects of your diet plays a major part in the condition of your health. So you have to be mindful and understand that your physical health is based firmly, strongly on your diet. And if you understand your diet and you follow a certain diet, then that should bring down the ailments, or that should lower your risks of dis-ease. You understand? Mental health in the same manner. It's like what you take in, what you read, what you watch, what you see, what you visualize on a regular basis, consistently, is tending to your mental health. You understand? And without the proper guidance, your mental health can be jeopardized, because the knowing of what to do and what not to do in life is tricky. And this is where acts of depression kicks in, because some lack the guidance of what direction they should go in order to prosper or prevail. And that brings a sense of depression about, which brings a sense of mental dis-ease. You understand? Because of the lack of constructing or constructive thoughts, because the lack of constructive thoughts borns chaos, and that chaotic pool of ideas become behaviors which have results, and those results may not be what was intended. So when the results occur from the lack of knowing, or from the mental chaos, when the results occur, then that will create a confusion, whether it's in a child or whether, basically it's considered a misunderstanding. And those misunderstandings can lead to a form of mental disease, which is a form of mental health. But constructive research or constructive education is what usually leads to a mental healthy, or a healthy mind state. You understand? Which, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. And, the brain is the strongest muscle, but the mind is the most fragile. So, understanding that and wanting to have a healthy mindset, then you should want to intake constructive information and, constructive or positive enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? But before we go any further, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsor, Enigma, where you can go and get all your social media needs met, where you can go and rent out podcast space to do your own podcasting or your own YouTube channel, where you need photography, you need product shots, you need on-site film work. Pop out Enigma. My man Louis Armstrong will get you right. Tell him Real Spill sent you. Now back at it. Now let's talk about wealth. We ain't talking about just money. Because money can buy you the best doctors. But the wealth that I'm talking about is a behavior. It's a movement. It's a rich movement. You understand? It's the intentions on wanting the best. That's the wealth that I'm talking about. You understand? The spiritual wealth, the intellectual wealth. You know what I mean? Same thing with like the physical wealth and the mental wealth. That all deals with the conditioning of trying to gain and gather what's necessary in life, though. You understand? Not just in society, but what's necessary in life. You know, that's what makes you wealthy. You understand? The principles, the values, and the concerns that you may uphold. That's where the true honor and wealth lies. But you understand that you have to obtain revenue in this society in order to gain that sense of tranquility or that sense of wealth. In order to even gain that sense of wealth, you have to obtain revenue. And in order to gain revenue, you got to be healthy to do so. You understand? So this is the reason why health and wealth coincides together, because they say if you rich and sick, you can't spend it on your deathbed. So you got to always understand and remember that health and wealth coincide together, because as you're trying to get wealthy, you should be also trying to get healthy. And it's vice versa, because the path pretty much is one and the same. So don't let self-destruction, don't get fooled or misled by self-destruction and believing that the deterioration of health in certain behaviors that may look wealthy is the way to go. Because in reality, if you don't have your health, you don't really have no wealth. And I'm going to end it on that. Real spill.